Don't spend that penny. Check the date. Look closely at the lettering. 10 seconds. A tiny minting mistake in 1955 makes this Lincoln cent worth over $90,000. It's the double die obverse, the king of errors. Find one and you're rich. Start searching. Welcome back, treasure hunters and coin lovers. Today's story begins in the heart of American history, inside the tiny pocket of a simple copper coin that millions of people once carried but almost no one paid attention to. We're talking about a coin that circulated quietly across grocery stores, gas stations, school lunch counters, and factory floors, yet today, it has become one of the most fascinating and desirable finds for coin collectors around the world. This is the legendary United States of America wheat penny from 1944, a coin packed with wartime history, mystery, and surprising value. And if you stick with me till the very end, I'll reveal the jaw-dropping price this old penny can reach today. To truly understand what makes the 1944 wheat penny so special, we need to travel back to the middle of World War II. The country was fully focused on supporting the war effort. Everything from rubber to steel to copper was being redirected toward military use. In 1943, the U.S. Mint stopped making copper pennies and temporarily switched to steel coated with zinc. This change created the famous steel penny, which many people still talk about today. But by 1944, something unusual happened. Copper pennies returned, but with a twist. Much of the copper used wasn't fresh metal at all. It came from recycled ammunition shells gathered from military training grounds. Every wheat penny struck in 1944 carries with it a small piece of wartime America, melted down and repurposed to keep the nation moving during uncertain times. The wheat penny design itself is a classic symbol of American numismatic history. On one side, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, calm and steady, just as he was when he guided the nation through the Civil War. His face appears on billions of coins, yet there is something deeply comforting about seeing it on a 1944 penny, simple, strong, timeless. On the reverse, the iconic wheat stalks bend outward, framing the words 1 cent. These two simple stalks represent prosperity, hard work, and the agricultural roots of America. This is why collectors adore wheat pennies. They're not just pieces of metal, they are reminders of a country growing, struggling, persevering, and reinventing itself. Now here's where things get even more interesting. While 1944 pennies were produced in large numbers, only a tiny fraction of them remain in excellent condition today. So many were used in everyday life, tossed into pockets, dropped on sidewalks, rubbed against keys, or stored in dusty jars. Decades of circulation left most of them worn down, scratched, or faded. That's why finding a 1944 wheat penny in exceptional shape is becoming harder every year. When a coin that old still carries its original shine, sharp edges, and bold details, collectors take notice quickly. But rarity isn't the only reason these coins have skyrocketed in value. Some 1944 pennies include unusual features or striking mistakes, mint errors that slip through unnoticed during production. Whether it's a slightly off-center strike, doubling in the lettering, or unexpected metal variations, even the smallest error can transform an ordinary penny into an extraordinary collectible. Error coins are unpredictable, exciting, and sometimes extremely valuable because each one is a unique accident of history. Collectors love the 1944 wheat penny not just because it's old, but because it carries stories, mysteries, and reminders of a time when every piece of metal mattered. It's a piece of America you can hold between your fingers, a tiny time capsule from a generation defined by sacrifice, unity, and resilience. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you have a 1944 United States of America wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, or even one with a desirable mint error, its value can reach an extraordinary $50,000. So check your old jars, your forgotten drawers, and your family coin collections. That humble little penny might be worth far more than anyone ever imagined. Today's journey takes us deep into the world of classic American coinage, back to a year filled with post-war optimism, growing families, booming industries, and a nation stepping boldly into a new era. In the middle of this exciting chapter of American life, one small coin quietly circulated from hand to hand, touching millions of lives without anyone realizing it would one day become a treasure worth searching for. We're talking about the United States of America wheat penny from 1954, a coin that looks humble but carries a story far bigger than its tiny shape. If you stay with me all the way to the end, you'll learn the unbelievable price this little penny can reach today. The year 1954 was a special moment in American history. The country was healing from the shadows of World War II, families were growing, suburbs were expanding, and the American dream was becoming a reality for millions. Amid all this change, the U.S. Mint continued producing the beloved Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that had already become an icon across America. Children collected them, workers earned them, shopkeepers counted them, and almost no one imagined that someday these simple copper cents would become prized collectibles. The design of the wheat penny is one of the most recognizable in all of U.S. coinage. On one side, the calm and thoughtful face of Abraham Lincoln looks toward the future, just as the country was doing in the 1950s. His portrait on these pennies feels timeless, steady, reliable, and full of character. The reverse side, decorated with two graceful wheat stalks, symbolizes prosperity, growth, and the agricultural heart of the nation. These wheat stalks aren't just decoration, they represent an era in which America was rebuilding and moving forward with confidence. For collectors, this design captures the spirit of early 20th century America in a way few other coins do. Even though the 1954 wheat penny was produced in large numbers at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, time has changed everything. Most of these pennies were used for decades, scraped against countless surfaces, stored in jars, rattled around in pockets, and eventually disappeared into circulation. Because of that, only a limited number remain today in pristine condition. The biggest difference between a common penny and a rare treasure often comes down to condition. A 1954 wheat penny that still shines with original mint luster, crisp lettering, and sharp edges becomes a highly desirable piece for collectors. But what truly adds excitement to the 1954 wheat penny is the world of minting varieties and errors. Every year, a few coins slip through the production process with tiny mistakes, maybe doubling in the letters, a misaligned strike, a small die crack, or even a slight off-center shift. These imperfections, which once would have gone unnoticed by the average shopper, are now highly prized by numismatists. An error turns a common coin into a rare collectible, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity is everything. The 1954 wheat penny also holds sentimental value. For many Americans, wheat pennies were the first coins they ever collected, traded, or saved in little coin books. They remind people of grandparents, old family piggy banks, and childhood memories. This emotional connection makes the coin even more appealing and adds an extra layer of magic to every discovery. So imagine finding one of these coins today. Not just any penny, but a 1954 wheat penny in exceptional, untouched, near-perfect condition. A coin that has survived over half a century without losing its brilliance. A coin that still looks fresh from the mint, carrying history, art, and rarity all at once. That's the kind of coin collectors dream of, and now the moment you've been waiting for. A United States of America wheat penny from 1954, preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition or featuring a valuable mint error, can reach an incredible $53,000. So check those old jars, search those forgotten drawers, dig through family coin boxes, and take a closer look at the pennies you once ignored. Your next great discovery might be hiding right in front of you. We're uncovering the story of a tiny copper coin that became one of the most talked about pieces in American numismatics. A coin that millions of people spent without a second thought, yet today, collectors search for it with excitement and even obsession. This is the United States of America wheat penny from 1955, a coin with mystery, character, and a history that makes it far more than just spare change. Stick with me until the final moments, because the value of this little penny might surprise you more than any coin we've discussed. So to understand the importance of the 1955 wheat penny, we need to step back into the world of the 1950s. America was booming. Families were growing, highways were expanding, televisions were entering living rooms, and the nation was stepping confidently into a new modern era. But while big changes were happening across the country, the U.S. Mint continued striking one of the most familiar and beloved coins in American pockets, the Lincoln wheat penny. And in 1955, something happened that turned this simple 1-cent coin into legend. The wheat penny design is already iconic. On the front, the calm and wise profile of Abraham Lincoln reflects strength and leadership. On the back, the two wheat stalks curve gently around the words 1 cent, symbolizing growth, abundance, and the spirit of a nation built on hard work. For decades, this design captured the heart of the American people, making the wheat penny one of the most cherished coin series in U.S. history. But 1955 stands out from all the other years, and for a fascinating reason. The minting process that year became one of the most unforgettable moments in coin-making history. Although millions of regular wheat pennies were struck in 1955, some rare and unusual variations began appearing in circulation. These mistakes, these tiny minting quirks, turned ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. And even today, the 1955 wheat penny is one of the most sought-after pieces ever produced, especially when collectors find one in exceptional condition. Imagine a coin that survived decades of pockets, cash registers, store counters, lunch boxes, and piggy banks, yet still looks nearly untouched. That's the dream of every collector. And because the majority of 1955 pennies circulated heavily, very few remain crisp, glossy, and beautifully detailed. A coin from this year in pristine condition is already rare, but one with a minting error becomes even more valuable, standing out like a shining jewel in the world of numismatics. Collectors especially love wheat pennies because each one feels like a small piece of American history. A 1955 penny may have passed through the hands of factory workers, schoolteachers, soldiers returning home, or children saving up for their first toy. Every scratch tells a story, every mark represents time, and every untouched surface reminds us of how unbelievably lucky we are to find such a coin preserved. Part of the thrill of collecting the 1955 wheat penny lies in the hunt, digging through old jars, exploring inherited collections, or simply checking the pennies that come your way. It's a coin that keeps collectors dreaming, searching, hoping, and discovering. And for many, the 1955 wheat penny is the moment they fall in love with coin collecting forever. So imagine holding a 1955 wheat penny that has survived for nearly 70 years without losing its brilliance. A coin so clean and perfect that it looks like it was struck yesterday. A coin with history, beauty, and rarity all wrapped into one. That's the kind of treasure that makes hearts race and collectors smile. And now the moment you've been waiting for. A United States of America wheat penny from 1955, preserved in uncirculated condition or featuring a rare mint error, can reach an astonishing $58,000. So check your old collections, search through forgotten boxes, and never ignore those pennies lying around. You might be holding a treasure without even knowing. Re-stepping into the world of classic American copper, back to a time when a single penny had real weight, rich color, and a story worth telling. The coin we're exploring today may look small, but its history, design, and surprising rarity have made it one of the most fascinating pieces collectors dream of finding. This is the United States of America wheat penny from 1956, a coin that has traveled across generations, through countless hands, and now into the spotlight for its unexpectedly high collector value. Stick with me all the way to the end, because the price this penny can reach will shock you. Let's travel back to the mid-1950s, a decade filled with optimism. America was growing rapidly. Families were settling into new homes, cars were cruising down freshly built highways, and the spirit of progress filled every corner of the country. During this era, the U.S. Mint continued producing one of the most beloved coins in American history, the Lincoln wheat penny. Already an icon for decades, this penny had become part of everyday American life. Whether you were buying candy at a corner store or dropping spare change into a piggy bank, the wheat penny was always there. The wheat penny design remains one of the most beautiful and symbolic in American coinage. On the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln's calm and thoughtful profile reflects strength, leadership, and unity. His portrait has appeared on billions of coins, but on these early pennies, it feels especially meaningful, like a quiet reminder of the values the nation was built on. Then there's the reverse, where two wheat stalks gently frame the words 1 cent. These wheat stalks represent prosperity, growth, and the agricultural roots of America. They remind us of a time when the nation was rebuilding and looking forward with hope. The design is simple, elegant, and timeless. But what makes the 1956 wheat penny so fascinating? While the U.S. Mint produced millions of them, most experienced heavy circulation. They were used daily, passed around in pockets, cash registers, school cafeterias, gas stations, and grocery stores. The majority have scratches, worn edges, faded details, or dull surfaces after years of handling. That's exactly why collectors treasure the few remaining examples that have survived in near-perfect condition. A 1956 wheat penny with its original shine, sharp lettering, and strong color becomes more than just a coin, it becomes a rare find, and that rarity increases even more when mint errors come into play. In 1956, some pennies left the mint with subtle but valuable variations, gentle doubling in the inscriptions, slight misalignments, small die cracks, or unexpected metal tones. These errors were never intentional, but collectors love them because they make each affected coin unique. An error turns an ordinary penny into a one-of-a-kind collectible, a piece of minting history no one can replicate. What also makes the 1956 wheat penny special is the emotional connection people have to it. Many older collectors remember finding wheat pennies and change as kids, trading them at school, or saving them in small coin folders sold at local stores. These coins feel nostalgic. They remind people of simpler times, family moments, and memories that never fade. That sentimental value adds another layer of meaning to every perfectly preserved wheat penny from this year. So imagine this: a 1956 wheat penny that has survived nearly 7 decades without being damaged or heavily circulated. A coin still glowing with its original copper shine. A coin that looks like it was struck yesterday, not in the mid-1950s. A coin that carries history, beauty, and rarity all at once. That is the kind of treasure collectors chase, and the kind of discovery that can turn an ordinary day into an unforgettable one. And now it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. A United States of America wheat penny from 1956 in flawless, uncirculated condition, or one carrying a valuable minting error, can reach an astonishing $60,000. So take a careful look at your coin jars, old drawers, inherited collections, or boxes you haven't opened in years. That little penny you once thought was worthless might actually be a hidden fortune. Diving deep into the world of the 1957 wheat penny, one of the fascinating final year issues of the legendary wheat-backed Lincoln cents. And trust me, if you stay with me till the end, you might be surprised how much one special 1957 wheat penny has sold for. Let's begin by stepping back into the year 1957. The United States was in the middle of a booming era, new inventions, rising industries, and an economy full of life. But even in such a progressive decade, the beloved wheat penny, first minted in 1909, still carried its classic design. For nearly half a century, the wheat ears on the reverse side represented America's agricultural strength, while Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait symbolized leadership and unity. The 1957 wheat penny is one of the last of its kind. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the mint replaced the wheat design with the Lincoln Memorial reverse. That means every late 1950s wheat penny is not only collectible, but part of the closing chapter of one of America's longest-running coin designs. Millions of these pennies were minted, but only a few survived in pristine, untouched, razor-sharp condition. Collectors especially search for examples with blazing red luster, no scratches, no wear, and full original shine. These high-grade survivors are incredibly tough to find, because wheat pennies were used constantly in everyday transactions. But what truly makes the 1957 penny exciting are the errors, those tiny mistakes that slipped through the minting process and transformed ordinary coins into valuable collectibles. Some pennies come with die cracks, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and doubled lettering. A sharp-eyed collector who recognizes these hidden flaws can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a treasure worth far more than its face value. When you find a wheat penny from 1957 with the perfect combination, brilliant state, strong strike, and possibly a rare error, you're looking at a coin that collectors will compete fiercely for. Auction houses have witnessed intense bidding wars for rare examples, and private collectors constantly search for the next high-grade rarity to add to their sets. And now, here's the moment many viewers wait for: the value of the top recorded example. Among the rarest, cleanest, and most flawless 1957 wheat pennies ever discovered, one remarkable coin shocked collectors when it sold for a massive amount. That astonishing value was $65,000.